Good morning, everybody. A warm welcome to all of you who have joined us for the webinar today. I hope I'm audible. Yes. Thank you so much for all of you who have joined us for the webinar today. Today being a Saturday, a weekend morning, we are very glad to have all of you here. And a warm welcome to Pranamika-san, who's joined us today from Daimler. Pranamika-san, good morning.
Good morning, Ashwin.
Yeah. Quickly to start off, before we start off the webinar, we would just want to reiterate a few do's and don'ts for all the participants today. We will be having this 1 hour session today. The first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, we'll just do a small introduction about SNRC, our organization, Sakuraa Nihongo Resource Center. And after this, we'll be handing it over to Pranamika-san. She'll be presiding over the webinar today. And at the end of the session, we'll be having a 10 minutes Q&A, question and answer session, where we would request the participants to, type your queries in the chat box. We will read out the questions to Pranamika-san, and she'll be answering those questions. And also, we would request the participants to be on mute, refrain from using the noteboard, dashboard, refrain from writing anything. Since this webinar is being recorded, it will also be shared on the social media pages. Again, I'll not take much of all of your times. So we'll just start off with the webinar. I'll hand it over to my colleague Rama-san. She handles operations at Sakuraa. She'll just quickly do a small introduction about SNRC. Rama-san, over to you.
Good morning, one and all. So happy to have you all here to hear from our Pranamika-san. Of course, an experienced HR person who's been totally in the People's Connect field, being the HR. So I think post this, Ashwini-san will give you a brief intro about her before we, have it given it across to her. So, but before that, yeah, many of you are our own students who know about SNRC, but many have joined from colleges. So, firstly, we thank the colleges for always supporting us by sharing the Michi details with all the students of their college. Right. So, thank the students and the college, the management, to have you all here today on this webinar. So firstly, let me start by the introduction of SNRC. SNRC, as we indicated, is Sakuraa Nihongo Resource Center. We are a core Japanese language services company. Next slide, please. Yeah. Where exclusively into Japanese language, and we've been in the industry for 24 years now. So if you talk about my business per se, it is split into three verticals. One is as an institute, we teach Japanese, the JLPT levels to one and all, from a school goer till a top management professional we have as our students. So those who are interested to pick up the language as per their need. The other, we very closely work with corporates, and we give them all the services that is required as in the field of Japanese language. And third, we are again associated with colleges and universities, where we teach their students, to be graduates or postgraduates. We teach them this language, again as per their need. So corporates and colleges, we customize the services. Now, talking about the services, as you can see here, we are into all the language training activities, document translations, both English to Japanese and Japanese to English, and vice versa. We give support for interpretations too. And these two programs are flagship programs of SNRC. As you can see, this is a Japanese culture and business etiquette program, where we sensitize Indians about the Japanese culture and business etiquette, because even before knowing or understanding the language, this would be the foremost thing. You understand the land with whom and the people with whom you're going to work with or go there for studies, whatever it is. And on the other side, I think Ashwini-san, if you can bring this down. On the other side, this is Indian sensitization to Japanese natives. So basically, we orient them with the Indian mindset, how we work, how we how we think, how we behave, and how much of diversity we have in India, right? So sensitizing Japanese about this who are here as expats. Last but not the least is the bilingual placement. So all of you, if you can pick up the language, and those who have picked up, we can always support you. And twice a year we conduct this virtual job mela also, and I think next Saturday we will be conducting the upcoming job mela too. In case you have not registered, if you are a Japanese language enthusiast and have picked up the language, you can upload your profile and look up to the companies which are participating in this job mela. Okay, next slide please. Okay, so here are the, you'll have to go back one slide. Yep, here are the list of companies whom we are working with closely. Basically, we wanted to showcase key. We are working with different verticals of companies. You can see some of the engineering companies, IT companies, manufacturing companies, automotive, pharmaceutical, so on and so forth, consulting firms, so on and so forth. So every field of business, we cater to their Japanese language needs. Next slide, please. So, as I indicated, we closely work with colleges. As you can see, some of the big names here from Bangalore, Ramaya University, we have Sheshadripuram College. From Mysore, we have Vidyavardhaka College. Hubli, we have BV. Which is BVB, and we have Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapeeth from Pune. So, like that, from Mumbai, we are associated with Xavier's. So, like that, we have catered to quite a good number of colleges too. Next slide. So, what is it? I mean, if you come to SNRC as a student, because there are a lot of institutes in the market here and there, right? Every city has got a lot of. So, what is the plus point of coming to SNRC? So, we just wanted to indicate a few things. One is, being in the market for a long time. Not only that, and exclusively in Japanese, which is a very niche field, but also being able to cater to the online training too. So it's not just because of the pandemic we had to jump into online training. We've been catering for more than 13 years now, and have made it excellent, as good as a individual and physical classroom type of training. But apart from that, there are a lot of USPs of SNRC which you get once you are an SNRC student. So I'll just read it out. You have programs like, you have a reading room, you get to participate in many cultural activities, and there are a lot of add-on activities which happen at SNRC, not only orienting you for the JLPT exam. And you get to hear people like Pranamika san who have come here. So esteemed speakers come from very good industry background, and they come and give you a understanding about how and why Japanese, and why should you think of this land, right? And again, bilingual placements and tie-ups with higher studies in Japan. All these are the extra benefits that you can get if when you come and learn with SNRC. So I don't want to take much of your time. So as I said, we have an exclusive website for our jobs portal, where you can upload your profile, and that would be helpful for us to help you in getting your dream job. So please upload your portal, and we are pretty active on social media, so you can look up and follow us, so that you can know all the activities that we do. So here I take a stop. I would request Ashwini san to introduce Pranamika san, and from there it will be over to Pranamika san. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rohan-san. Thanks for the introduction. So I'm very honored to be introducing Pranamika-san today. So to quickly speak about Pranamika-san, she heads the Learning and Development Division of Daimler. So she's been an award-winning learning leader of the year 2018 BFSI industry, and being one of the top 100 training and development minds from the year 2018 to 2020. She's a strategic business partner and an innovative people leader. She has had hands-on experience in training and developing workforce, organizational change, cultural transformation, leadership development, coaching for performance, employee engagement, and human resources management. She's also worked for more than 18 years, primarily in the areas of operations, training, learning, and organization development across industries like hospitality, retail, consulting, IT, and BFSI. So Pranamika-san has handled varied cross-functional and multiple industry resources, both structured and unstructured setups and organizations. She has significantly contributed towards the change management of leadership team, structured learning approach, and digital learning transformation at Kotak Life Insurance. Her area of expertise are LMS, that is the Learning Management Systems, mid and senior leadership development, talent development, assessment and development center, content and concept design of blending learning, digital learning, competency mapping, measuring learning effectiveness, etc. So Pranamika-san is also a certified assessor from XLRI, DISC, and situational leadership from Blanchard International, CBI from AON Hewitt, Seven Habits practitioner from Franklin Covey, etc. She is academically, she is an MBA from Central University, Tejpur, Assam. She also has a postgraduate diploma from ISTD and bachelor's in hotel management from IHM, Pusa, New Delhi. So Pranamika-san claims to be, on her own journey of self-discovery, self-creation, and in the quest of conquering new challenges. Her hunger for knowledge and enthusiasm to share and contribute to others' growth is a reason deter for initiating and designing all her learning interventions. She's currently, as I mentioned, she heads the learning and development at Daimler India Commercial Vehicles Asia. Pranamika-san, again, a warm welcome to you for this today's session.
Thank you, Ashwini, and thank you, Rama, as well, for the detailed introduction about Sakuraa and also detailed information about me as well. And a warm welcome to all the students. Really, really happy to be invited and also be able to interact with each one of you at the start of your career. I really look forward to this conversation. Let me just share my screen. So I will restrict my discussion around 4 C's actually. So we'll talk about each. Are you able to see my screen?
You're yet to share, I think, Pranamika-san.
Okay, sure. Yes, are you able to see now?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we are going to talk about 4 C's today. So we will, as Rama and Ashwini has already taken you through their introduction, and we all are aware why Japan is so advanced and why it is doing the things that they are doing today. What has been the legacy? What has been the culture that they follow? What are some of the career opportunities that are there in Japan or for Japan? So I would not restrict only being in Japan, but being in India also, you can have a career very, very well versed and traversed in the country of Japan. Okay, and the 4th one is about the competitive advantage that we would have knowing this language. So we'll focus on it. I hope everybody is able to see the screen and is able to hear me as well.
Yes, Pranamika-san.
Sure. So as a country, if you see whoever visits, I will talk about as a tourist. So I have been there as a tourist and then been for work as well now. So now you don't even find a signboard which is there written in English, right? So the only thing is to navigate there is by knowing the language a little bit. It's the similar kind of thing we face in some parts in India. Okay, so it's very, very important that as a tourist also you need to know a little bit of know-how about the language and about the culture of the country. So what it talks about, so when you hear Japan, what do we hear about? What's the first thing that comes to our mind? The first thing that comes to our mind is are some of the very, very advanced technologies which comes from there. The unique culture that they have, the unique cuisine that they have, and the kind of spellbound entertainment opportunities and entertainment platforms that they have come up with in the last couple of years. And secondly is the industries. Okay, so the motor vehicles, automobile sector per se, electronic equipments, the art and the ceremonies of culture that hails from Japan definitely intrigues and interests a lot of people there, and hence, in spite of the fact that the country is hot, it's tropical, people still want to continue growing there. There are certain challenges as well there, and I don't know if we can call it challenges. Rather, I would say it is, people are more data oriented, people are more technology oriented rather than emotional oriented. The Indians are by far very, very emotional, which you will not find so much in Japan. They go by data, they go by technology, and there is very less scope of emotion when it comes to professionalism. They're very, very high on technology, and there the cost of labor also is very, very high. And hence there lies the huge demand for skilled workforce. So if I have to quote the example of our company, if we talk about the brand that we have, Fuso, which we only deal with, it's not sold in India, so it's only for export, and hence we require in each and every part. I mean, I think we have about 19 functions, except legal. Every function has got an Indian resource working there. So that's the kind of demand that is there in the country per se. So now moving on to what makes them so unique. What's the culture? Now, it's inevitable that we can only learn the culture well when we know the language, because you have to get into their space, you have to get into their shoes, because very few people are. It's the only country which is 100% Japanese as the official language. So hence 99% of the population there speaks the local language. So the culture, why the Japanese are so calm, so cool. We have a couple of colleagues working here. I keep looking at them and I keep owing at them that what made them like this, because they follow this culture very, very strongly. First is that they want harmony all across, regardless of business, regardless of the family, regardless of the relationships that you have. They want harmony all across. So they are the people who will always be very harmonious, offer to support, offer to collaborate. Though they are not a very extrovert people who will be out and out to kind of reach out to you to make friends or relationships, but yes, they will always follow harmony. They will always follow law and order very, very strictly, very diligently, and they are always focused on their self-development. So these are the three things they really go by very strongly. So if you heard about Japanese companies, if you heard about some terms, like kaizen, like Ikigai, and all of these are actually the principles which is part of their culture. So they live by these 4 principles very strongly. So when you talk about these principles, now again, coming back to it, so now how do I learn these principles? One is that we enroll for a certain course. One is that we can go for a book. One is that we can follow the processes by learning it, by enrolling in different formats, and also by being in that country, which is a later stage. So these 4 principles, when you talk about Ikigai, which actually gives us the purpose of our life, wabi-sabi, which is basically nothing but acceptance of everything and finding a beauty in everything. Third is the process of kaizen, and the fourth is the kanban, which they say that it's called a signboard, but they say that we sign off an incident or a critical incident or a problem statement only when we solve that problem. We move to the next, and we do not run around chasing the problems. Rather, we finish it, and we only work with things which are already on. So these 4 principles actually lead us towards a balanced growth and fulfillment. And that's what is the secret of the Japanese. And this is very well portrayed in a book by Hector and Frances, where it's an international bestseller and has been there in the market for quite a while now. I think I would recommend that each one of you, if you get a hand on it, please read this book. It's called as Ikigai, the Japanese secret for a long and happy life. So Ikigai is nothing but it's about for which I get up in the morning and go running, right? In the morning, everyone wakes up to do something, to look forward to something. So what is that? That's actually the Ikigai. And each one of us has got an Ikigai in us. So it's about finding that purpose. Okay, so every time that you see a Japanese, they will always talk about the purpose. This is what I live for. This is what I work for. This is my purpose. Okay, so which is this actually gives us a meaning towards what we do. Second is the wabi-sabi, which I said that they try and find perfection in everything, and they try and make it simple. So I recall my experience of working with a Japanese team when I just started as at the Daimler truck. And at that point in time, they said that you do not bring so much of English and so much of processes and so much of frameworks. We actually are simple people, and we require very, very simple processes, which are very layman and which are very simple to put together, okay, so that you understand each and every step very, very well, and we are not putting just for the sake of putting it. So hence they try and make things simple. They have an awareness about the natural beauty which is exist in each and everything, and they try to find beauty in imperfection as well. The third one, which is the kaizen principle, which most of the companies that you talk about Toyota, you talk about Honda, all of them follows kaizen principles. And kaizen leads you towards improving productivity. So hence every operational function in any automobile sector, you'll find them following these, and you'll keep hearing as and when you will grow in your career. I'm sure you will come across, few of you will take up jobs in industries of automobile. And these are the 5 things that they talk about when you talk about kaizen principles. They talk about knowing the customer. They say that let it flow the way it is. Follow the process. Go to gemba. Gemba is nothing but the actual place where it is. They don't simulate things. They kind of say that this is where actually the production is happening. This is where actually the car is lying. This is where the chassis is there. This is where I have to go and contribute. So they actually go to that place, and then they say that we empower people, even though he is a blue collar, white collar, different set of engineers, doesn't matter. We empower the people and we let them take the next stride. And we need to be transparent. So these are the 5 very, very well-tried and experienced processes which are part of Kaizen principle. So they say that who follows Kaizen will always bring us improvement in productivity. So now, if you talk about the first mover, so if I have to give you an example of Toyota was the first mover. So if you talk about TQM, if you talk about 5S, if you talk about Deming Price, all of this TQM, I'm sure few of you from the MBA college and all, I'm sure must have heard about total quality management and what it talks about total quality management. And total quality management was first exercised by Toyota in the world. And how it originated was that Edward Deming taught the methods of statistical analysis to these group of engineers. And these group of engineers were all Japanese. And that's where the origin of TQM came into being. And then now companies are striving towards that. We are one of the company who's moving on towards TQM now. In India, TVS was the first mover towards getting the Deming Prize. So if you talk about these brands, these automobile companies, they all follow Japanese principles. So if you talk about 5S brings us the aesthetic nuances of every company. Each of our offices are bound to be 5S certified. We follow Kaizen principles at our operations. So any company you talk about, the first thing that comes to our mind, first name that comes to our mind about processes, about total quality, about being very sorted offer to the customer is Toyota. So Toyota has followed very, very diligently each and every principle of Japanese, and they have mastered it now. So, and now they offer consulting services as well, right? And then the last principle which they go by is the kanban. Kanban is nothing but it's actually 2 words which combine sign and board. They say that we only take up work which is actively in progress. We do not start work, we do not start multiple tasks and then we finally don't complete anything. So what we do is we complete the task to entirety, and then only we move towards then only we pick up a new task from the backlog. So this is how they work. So these are the 4 principles, if you talk about, which is followed and practiced and exploited and utilized across brands and across automobile industry. I'm bringing more nuances of automobile industry because I come from that industry. So now, we will move towards careers. Now here, when I talk about careers, in Japan or for Japan. So as I said, you can sit here, you can be a resource who reports into our plant in Oregon and work for Japan. So most of the preferred streams that people look at in today's date, and if you talk about having an advancement, we have always a preference of having, we will always have preference of people who have a profession, who has a mechanical or a mechatronics or a electronics engineer with communication engineering with a combination of Japanese proficiency. So this is something which is a preferred, and it's considered to be as one of the niche jobs. And there is huge demand for this particular skill. So if you have an engineering degree and you elate it with addition of language proficiency, which is Japanese, it definitely gives you an edge over the other candidates who apply for the same job. In case of a general background, nowadays, all of us are aware that PMP does not require engineering mandatorily. Earlier, it used to be, but now we also have an option of going through a PMP certification along with the language proficiency. Yeah, so this will definitely give us an edge over other aspirants. And any technical degree blended with language proficiency creates higher package, and it is also also will give you an access to the global reach. And for the people, if I have to make a point for a lateral movement, let's say not the fresh aspirants, if you talk about the lateral movement who has a 5, 6, 10 years of experience, when they move into a role on deputation, let's say from Daimler, they had moved into MFTBC, which is in Japan, and their spouse also moved along with them. If the spouse knows the language a little bit, they definitely gets occupation. And this is picking up from our real life stories. We have multiple people who goes there for 3 to 4 years in Tokyo, and they go and they see that over a period of time, by knowing the language, the spouses also gets occupation there. So it's where the quality of life improves a lot. And also it is not restricted to only the white collar and the engineers per se. In fact, we have our blue collar associates also who have taken up language as a skill, upgraded themselves, and then they have moved with this skill to our Japan counterparts as well. And they have been living a much more better life now because they have upgraded themselves to the next level. So spouses get opportunities like independent Japanese translator and content writers and things like that. So every function of Daimler Truck, if I have to talk about Fuso, we have designers everywhere, every function. Employees working in every function except legal, because legal is a very, very integral thing of the country, and hence they would always prefer a local resource from there. So in Daimler Truck, roles are mostly of designers, whether it is an axle design, whether it's a CAD design, cab design. These are mostly of engine designers, but definitely if there are 2 candidates and one candidate is a mechanical engineering, pure mechanical engineering without any language proficiency, vis-a-vis somebody with mechanical engineering or a mechatronics engineering blended with language proficiency of Japanese, definitely gets an edge. I'm talking from the selection point of view as well. Okay, and certifications are great, but what is preferred is more of day-to-day interaction, which means we have to really, really focus on exchanging thoughts and ideas and practicing this on the regular basis. This also fosters our rapport and our relationship with our stakeholders. Our stakeholders understands our things better. It's easier to exchange ideas. Okay, and hence they say that certifications, of course, is required in due course of time. But to start with, you also have to keep focusing on the regular interaction, your day-to-day requirement of language. In fact, we are working on one of our function guru, one of our global capability center resource, who are about 400 people who are moving on to Japan in due course of time, but we have to prep them with the basic language interaction. So this is something which has come in, and hence they have to exploit that, and then post that only they will actually be able to move. So these are some of the avenues of career opportunities. As I said, one is that you get deputed there, you work there, you stay there for a couple of years, come back. That's one part of it.
Hello, the video was stuck to me.
Pranamika san? Pranamika san? Yes, Pranamika san will be back again. It's a small glitch. She'll be joining us again. So I request all of you to kindly be present. She'll be she'll be continuing the speech in a while.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Pranamika san.
Sorry, I just got logged off for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to enable the screen share.
Yes, you can share the screen. One second.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
No, it still shows disabled.
One second.
Ashwini-san, you have to make her the
Yes.
co-host.
I made you the co-host. Can you see that? I've given you the
Yeah,
access, Pranamika-san.
Sure, sure.
Okay. Please share the screen.
Yeah, sure. Are you able to now?
Not yet.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can. Yeah, you can resume.
Sure. So I don't know where I was last. I'm just kind of sharing with what I remember I last. So most of the positions that we, as I said, there are two parts of it. One is being there and one is working from here. So what we prefer is engineering background with the Japanese language proficiency, because most of our counterparts and most of our, 2-3 of our brands, we are working closely only with Japan. And hence these combinations definitely work for us. And as I mentioned to you, that certification definitely helps to move in your career and then in due course of time. But regular interaction is something that we will have to be very, very well versed. So this will give us an edge over the other candidates. So if you have to talk about, combination of Japanese, of course, German also is a language which is proficient as well, which is an expected proficiency in some of the brands. But Germany, what happens? A lot of them a lot of the things are manageable with English. But Japan is the only country where we actually have to communicate there, know the culture there, know the processes there well, and you can all know this only when you know the language well. So moving on to the advantage that we would have. Okay, so if you see, though we have a couple of institutes, but very few are there, I would say, a very handful of them who are and really good contributors towards Japanese development. And this would, knowing the language would definitely foster opportunities locally as well as globally. And it allows the on-site employees to connect with the Japanese culture and heritage easily. What is it that you are supposed to, connecting with the local cuisine, connecting with, because if you're there for good, if you're going there for 5 years, and then, I've seen some of my colleagues who have gone there just for a year, but finally they're still there. It's been 7 years now. So if you're there for good, it's important for us to be connected to the heritage as well. And we also need to build allies and friends and build the ecosystem for ourselves. And what is some of the and combination of technical skills, whether it is a PNP combination, whether you talk about engineering along with the language proficiency, is definitely a preferred combination of competencies that we would look at in an automobile sector, especially. And knowing the language will make life easier, because you'll have to work in a lot of processes, you'll have to work on a lot of projects, and where you will have to have a regular interaction. There's a cross-functional team which gets formed. It's 5 of them are Japanese, 6 of them are Indians, and then and that's how you work in a cohesive way. And there, it's inevitable that because we are working for a project in Japan, it's inevitable for us to also be able to know that, because this also aids to our collaboration. So also the stakeholders I have seen in many parts, I have seen in many of our functions, we see that, our Japanese counterparts actually require, they want, we get our, as you call, the repeat kind of interaction or repeat business sort of a thing, where one particular person who is very, very proficient or basic proficiency is available in him, and he's able to contribute towards the project, he's been actually preferred next as well. So this is how it always works for when it comes to working with Japan. And we also, one thing that I would like to focus here is that, apart from the language, I think we also focus on the etiquette and the and knowing the culture well of Japan. If you aspire to be working for a Japanese company, I'm not saying you aspire to be there or move there, but also if you aspire to working in one of these leading companies, definitely it's an edge if you would be well versed with the Japanese culture and the etiquette. This brings to an end of my presentation, as in what can Japanese, how can Japanese contribute towards your development. And at the start of your career, if you are able to make this shift, I think there is way to go. And with this, I would like to pause and I would like to invite questions if you have any. And thank you so much for listening to.
Thank you. Thanks, Pranamika-san. That was a wonderful talk, actually. So much, I mean, you could cover so much in such a brief time. I'm sure all our participants will have a lot of questions. So I'll just quickly read out the questions to you. And if you can just stop sharing the screen, Pranamika-san, is it okay? Yes. Thank you. Yes, so start off. So I would request the participants to start typing your questions. I'll read out to them, read out to her one by one. Yes, we have a question from Tanuja San. She's asking, any opportunities for a HR professional with N4 level certification? I have 2 years of experience as a talent partner in an MNC. Are there any certifications that would be useful to add value to my profile?
Okay, so thanks for that question. Definitely, this can be an opportunity in Japan as well. I see a great addition to being an HR person with this. Of course, not in the probably the talent, not probably in the business HR side and all of that. It's more towards talent development, where which is my forte as well. So there, I think it can be an added advantage to have that skill, be able to contribute to the capability building of workforce. So Tanuja, that can help you.
Thank you. Yes, we have Yashwadan San saying, I have missed the session. Can you please recall the content in brief? Yes, San, we will be sharing shortly, the recording of the session. So it will be posted in all our pages. So some more time and you'll be getting it by Monday, Tuesday max, we'll be posting it. You can definitely look into that. You'll get all the contents that Pranamika San has already shared with us. We have another question here. Is JLPT compulsory for or N4 and N3 certification is okay? Also, he's from commerce background. Darshan San.
Okay, so with the commerce background, of course, the language specialist, there are multiple options like a translator, a content developer. We definitely require, I keep requiring a lot of freelancers who works with us to be able to develop the content for our GCC. So, likewise, you will have many such opportunities with Toyota and the other companies as well. So this JLPT definitely adds an advantage over and above the N4s and N3s.
Okay. Thank you. Another question. I have completed my BCom. Will Japanese help me in my career?
As I said just now, it's a follow-up, I think, question. It can help you to be a translator. I have come across one profile. I was interviewing somebody yesterday, and I saw that that added advantage with that guy. I was typically looking at a facilitator, and he had a Japanese and German expertise with him. So I thought that was an added advantage over the other candidates that he had. So definitely, it can help you towards building a career towards translator or content development and such profiles.
I think there's
just one more add-on, Ashwini-san. The last two questions from our experience, just adding on, you should look at least N3 level. N3 is the market standard. When you go as a language translator, interpreter, you better be at N2 level. If you're going to go with a strong expertise only on the language and the other background, what you have, be it a BCom, BA, whatever it is, then you will be treated as a language expert. You should look at N3 minimum and 2 preferable. Okay, just adding on to what Pranamika said.
Yes,
okay.
Thanks,
Please continue.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, Pranamika sir, you have something to say?
No, I think I saw a question there of Radhika. Can you probably read that? I think it resonates with me. She works for a client as for us only. Daimler Truck Fuso.
No, I'm just coming in an order. Yeah, the next question is more of a technical, I think. How is the OJT when it comes to a fresher? What's the future of automobile when it comes to hydrogen fuel cell?
1 second, I didn't get the question. How is the OJT when it comes to a fresher? Okay. What's the future of automobile when it comes to hydrogen fuel cell? So if I have to quote an example of us, we are also we are still far away there, but we are definitely exploring various opportunities, and not just hydrogen, also other alternative fuels as well. But when it comes to the OJT, right now the offerings in the market is very limited. So you in fact learn through on the job only. So I would say so, and that's how we are grooming our talent inside.
Okay. The next question, is it opportunity for AutoSAR? I think he's asking if there is opportunity for AutoSAR, embedded background with project management experience. N5 failed once and preparing currently. Okay, so you're preparing for N5 again, Kira-san.
Yes, madam.
Okay. Pranamika-san, she's asking for AutoSAR embedded background and also project management experience, but she has she's yet to clear N5.
So I don't know. I don't see any I mean, of course, N5 clearance will definitely help, but I think it's a good. I mean, I'm yet to kind of fully get the question. Can you just repeat? I'm not giving out. I'm not able to see the question well.
I'll read it out to you, Pranamika-san. So is it opportunity for AutoSAR? I think she means, is there any opportunity for AutoSAR embedded program with project management experience?
Okay. Okay. Yes. There are, but then I don't know at what level you are asking, whether you have experienced or for the first time you're experiencing or aspiring this. Definitely, making a shift within the organization definitely helps with this particular combination.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can I have one question that is there any scope for law firms, like if we want to doing law from India, and if we want to do any work in Japanese firms, law firms of scope?
So as I said, law is a slightly different. Legal is the only part which we haven't experienced as much, and also we don't have we don't have any legal colleagues of ours going and representing or working for Japan right now. I mean, that is the scenario. But this is something that I think Ashwini and Rama can better give an insight.
So yes, I didn't get your name, I'm sorry, but yes, even in the previous speakers, I mean, one of the speakers had told the same thing, who's from Japan. So they said ki legal, when you look at legal, Indian laws versus Japanese laws are very, very different. Until unless you study Japanese laws and, you've been there and study Japanese laws and then work there, it is fine. Otherwise, with the Indian law system, you would have learned, in your legal learnings, you would have learned only the Indian laws and bylaws. That will not work until unless you study their laws, then you will get an opportunity.
Ma'am, actually, like our Prime Minister has also signed various memorandum from various companies to Japanese also. In this, there is also a part of course that is company secretary, which is valid all over India. And can a company secretary work in Japan if there is any firms operated in Japanese of Indian origin?
That can be an option, but then you'll have to associate with the language here in India, and then you can think of moving to Japan, because with the language, working for an Indian MNC for Japanese maybe clients or customers, and then if the company has a requirement, they can move to Japan.
Ma'am, is there any
getting jobs there? We'll have to look out. I'm not very sure on that too.
Ma'am, is there any particular experiences also required to eligible for the for working in Japanese companies?
You will have to have your language proficiency fully with your technical expertise.
But one last doubt, ma'am. Actually, it is also essential that you have a engineer background or any technical background.
If you are a legal person, why do you need an engineer background? When we say technical, it is your core expertise. It can be engineering. It can be, I mean, as you said, you are a CA. If you're a CA, you are a CA. You need not be an engineer to become a CA, right? So your technical, your background, your core technical background plus language will fetch you jobs in your field. Otherwise, you can be a core language expert who can work in any field.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, I think we'll go by the charts because so many of them have asked, and Pranamika-san has a hard stop at 11. So let's try to complete as many questions as possible. Others, we will try to get input from Pranamika-san at a later point and share it with you. Okay.
Yes.
Ashwini-san, please continue.
Yes, sir. For more questions, you can write it to me on WhatsApp. We will check with the team and discuss with the experts and give the answer to you and whatever solutions we can. Okay. Thank you. So there's another question. I'm not sure if this is relevant, Pranamika-san. Any opportunities in pharma, IT or pharma co-vigilance in Japan, N4 or N3?
I'm not too sure. This is an industry that I'm not very well versed with and not worked as well. So, but I'm sure there must be.
Yes, pharmacovigilance has a lot of requirements, not only in Japan, even here in a lot of companies, pharmacovigilance, but N3 is a must. Please make a note. N3 is a must in every industry. Yes, please continue.
Yes, moving on to the next question. Somebody who has worked in IT, that is SAP, but has a degree in mechanical engineering, what are the prospects? I personally have worked in spare parts division of Mitsubishi Fuso, currently studying JLPT N5.
Okay. So mechanical engineering. So mechanical engineering, you have a lot of opportunities for designers, you know, axle designer, your cab designer, your and you know, couple of more designing opportunities which are available in an entire function of R&D.
Okay. Yes, I'll go to the next question. Yeah, Radhika-san is asking. I am a Japanese.
We keep having our, as I said, you know, walk-in drives as well for our, especially for engineers. And you know, you should keep a track of the website, and you can keep following those. You know, it's like how Rama was mentioning about exhibition that Mela, right? So we have our walk-in drives like that.
Yeah.
So for mechanical engineers.
Yes, Radhika-san has a question.
I have one question, madam. Should I ask?
Yes.
Is this easy to learn for Japanese for new learners?
Yes, sir. I think I'll address that being an institute. Yes, it is. I wouldn't call it very easy. You know, Japanese is known to be a tough language and it has 3 scripts. But yes, with little diligent effort, Indians can pick up Japanese well because you will have to correlate it to your Indian mother tongue. So if you keep, you know, relating it to the Indian mother tongue, we are able to, Indians per se are able to pick it up comfortably. But yes, as any learning, you'll have to put in effort, right? You will have to put in a daily effort because this is some language which we don't hear day in, day out. So you'll have to put in effort to retain that language in you. And it takes time. It's not like, you know, in a jiffy you are going to get it. As an institute, at least for you to come to N3, it will take 2 years of time. I think again, I'm reiterating, let's go by the order of the, you know, questions which has come in the chat. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, the Radhika Sons, I think we're missing out her question.
Yes, Rama-san. So yes, the next question I think we will to Tanuja-san is asking again, will PMP certification be useful to pursue HR professional and have career opportunities?
Absolutely, Tanuja. Absolutely. And we definitely try and upgrade our HR resources as well with PMP certification now. Because of the fact that, you know, that the technical, now you know that it is all about hiring for skill, and you know, it's not about only knowledge. Okay, it's also about the skill. So hence we always upgrade our employees with the certification, and HR is such. So PMP certification definitely adds value to your HR career.
Okay. Preeti-san has a question. Can you please explain content developer? What exactly the work?
So content developer is it's content. It's content. When you talk about content, it is about whether it can be content which is marketing content, it can be learning content, it can be some leadership content, it can be some ad campaigns, it can be some product development content, anything to do with the literature. When you bring in the literature, bring that understanding, and you know, make it and bring it to a layman language. This is called as content development. Okay, so that is, and it requires a lot of tool and all of that. You'll have to undergo Bloom's taxonomy, you have to undergo ADDIE model, you have to undergo different kinds of models to be able to arrive at a content developer role.
Okay. The next question is by Venkatachalam San. He's asking, can you explain the prospects of opportunity in cyber security?
Not really. Cybersecurity will not make too much of a difference with having a language proficiency.
Ninad-san has a question. I'm keen to work in Japan, Japanese MNCs. Is there any particular hiring season for Japan? Can you please suggest any pages on LinkedIn or any other job portal which we can follow? He's asking, he's asking, is there any particular hiring season for Japan? I mean, is there any time that it's the hiring?
No, what I would suggest is that I would suggest all aspirants, in fact, to try and get into a job in India and then try and go with a deputation. That's much better. Okay, rather than going in for odd jobs. Sometimes you might honestly land up in an odd job in Japan because because it's very ambiguous. So it's always, hence people like to work in a Japanese company, being in India, and then over a period of time make a move there for a few years, come back, or maybe go for good.
Okay. So he's also asking, can you suggest any pages on LinkedIn or any job portal that they can follow, especially for Japanese opportunities? I think he's asking.
I have not come across, there might be some consultants who work specifically for a few companies, which I know they work for us. So like that.
Okay. Here, I think most of the students know, but still I would like to reiterate that we have an exclusive jobs portal. Since we do the, language trainings or anything and everything related to Japanese language services that we provide, we are able to understand the needs of the corporate companies. So we request all the students who have done their, preferably N3, N4 and above, please upload your CVs to our website. As Rama-san mentioned earlier, we do this Shokuba, that is the online job mela, and which is happening on the next Saturday also. So down the lane, people, when you complete your N4 and N3, we can reach out to you and try to connect you to these companies. The next question is by Sucharita
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, actually, I have one doubt. Which is the best portal or app to apply your CV to get here on abroad? Like LinkedIn is very famous. Is there any other professional? LinkedIn is sufficient to upload your CV and.
Yes, son. We are referring to the SNRC, that is Sakura's exclusive jobs portal.
I think Ashwini, in the chat, you can indicate the link to our portal.
Yes.
Point number one. Point number two, see, as the Pranamika san indicated, there are few consultants. If you're not coming to us, there are few other consultants who work closely for bilingual staffing. So you can look up there. And LinkedIn is one very common and a generic place.
Yeah.
Okay, that everyone uses. That's also good. Okay.
Yes.
I think we'll continue.
Thanks, Rama-san. The next question is by Subramania-san. Which website do we need to keep checking for Japanese job? I think we already answered that question. He's asking for any website for a Japanese job details.
We have answered, na Ashwini, let's continue.
Yes. Sucharita-san has a question. Any sales and marketing jobs in Japanese companies? She's N3, and can it be in India or Japan?
It can, there are positions available. In our company also we have.
Okay.
Then I'll directly apply. Have not faced a lot of success while applying to any of these jobs. I've completed an MBA also. Have 19 months of work experience in e-commerce, Flipkart, right? So, I've been trying a lot, but just wanted to understand anything specific to
Very few though, I would say very few. Okay, they might require just one resource with this. So hence you probably have not been able to, because it's also about the luck then, because it's only, 1% position out of maybe 10, So that is the reason. It's very niche, as I said, it's very niche. So having an added degree always helps.
Got it. All right. We'll try applying on Daimler then. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Ashwini and Radhika's thing we have missed out. Let's do that and let that be the last question, because Pranamika san has indicated a hard stop at 11. We are already exceeded.
Yeah.
Please.
The rest, I think we can just send it out to Pranamika san later and get the answers, and we'll share it with the students.
Yeah, this is specific to Daimler. If you could read out the last question of Radhika.
Yes. Okay. Sure, Rama-san. So Yes. So the rest of them, as we mentioned, we will, please write down those questions, or even if you can share them in the WhatsApp group, we'll be happy to help. And again, I think all of you will carry, a lot of information today after the webinar, and it's been a wonderful webinar with a lot of insights. And Pranamika-san, to tell you frankly, those slides were so brief, and brevity, clarity was taken care of. So thank you so much. It was wonderful having you here.
Radhika's question, please.
Yeah, one second. I think we missed out on Radhika's question. Yeah.
Because it's related.
Yeah, I think Pranamika answered this question. Radhika's asked, I am a Japanese payroll analyst working for a client. Yeah, Daimler Truck, Fuso, with N4 certification. I also communicate with Japanese colleagues in Japanese language. Are there any opportunities for me to go to Japan and work there?
See, then it will be an outside of this thing. So you'll have to, there definitely will be options. As I mentioned this, I think in another question earlier, it is always to be associated with the company and then go there, rather than, landing in, sometimes, you may land in an odd job, because it's, you're talking about, you're not talking about a focused job role here, right? So that is the reason I would always prefer you join a Japanese company and then from there you make a, that will make more sense.
Okay. I think Radhika-san got our answer. So yes, again, I would really, heartfelt thanks to Pranamika-san and all of you who joined us, took your time out on a weekend morning to join the webinar. It's wonderful having all of you here. So any other doubts, queries, please reach out to the admin team on WhatsApp call. We'll be very happy to help you. Pranamika-san, again, thanks and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you
very
so much, all of you.
Pranamika-san.
And wish all the students very best. And I'm sure you're going to really reach the sky heights, and with added advantage of the language with you. Thank you so much, Rama and Ashwini, for the session.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。Good morning.